Welcome to our week one in our course, The Theology and Ethics of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. For this week, we have two assignments. The first one is a reading of A Testament to Freedom, and the second one is optional and is watching the very, very nice documentary by Doublemeyer on Bonhoeffer. So even though the latter is optional, I really encourage you, if you have a chance, to watch it because it's very, very well made and very engaging. So as to the first assignment, the text, the reading of the text, of course, we're reading not a primary source. That is, it's not a text written by Bonhoeffer, it's a text about Bonhoeffer. It's a biography. So, basically what we are looking at this first week is to gain a sense of, who was this Bonhoeffer, first as looking a little bit to his background, his family background, his social background, how his theological vocation came about, especially considering that he was raised in a relatively secular environment. So what prompted Bonhoeffer to study theology, right? And to entertain the idea of becoming a pastor, uh, which eventually happened after his theological studies. So we will go through also his what we can call his ecclesiastical career, how he had to struggle within the church uh, to find positions to engage in ministry, because at the same time, Bonhoeffer was also engaged in the academic life, teaching at the University of Berlin. Other aspects that will come up are, for example, the importance of his travels to the United States to study at Union Theological Seminary in the first trip, and in the second, just to probably avoid the long arm of the Nazi regime and try to, find even refuge in the United States, something that he regretted shortly afterwards. We will also go through the struggle, the church struggle, what is called the Kirchenkampf, in the case of the evangelical and Lutheran churches in Germany, as they were trying to grapple with the impact of the Nazi ideology and the attempts by the Nazi party to, infiltrate and control the church. And many of the Bonhoeffer's most important writings will have this church struggle as the background or context. So don't worry if in this initial approach to Bonhoeffer's life, don't worry if you don't understand all the details of this church struggle, because this is what we're going to deal with as we move on with different readings throughout these upcoming weeks, right? So we will gain more insights as to this background and context in which the most important writings of Bonhoeffer were produced. So, as I mentioned, because this is not a primary source, it's a biography, it will be a little bit difficult to say, well, okay, what is an affirmation and what is a challenge? Remember that this is the structure that we have for our posts to follow more or less this structure, affirmation and challenges. So, instead of being strictly speaking affirmation and challenges on Bonhoeffer's thinking, what we are trying to do in this first week is to lift up, in this section of affirmation, is to lift up what really struck us, what caught our attention in this narrative about Bonhoeffer's life. And in the section, for corresponding to challenges, we can, note, for example, aspects that are not clear to us, that we need more insights to, and something that we would like probably to know more about. So this is what I propose um, as a way of approaching the reading for this week. I hope you enjoy this text and that you start to gain very important insights and appreciation for the life and the character of Dietrich Bonhoeffer.